At 16, when most athletes are still being told to wait their turn, Alysa Liu.
She had the national titles, the triple axels, the relentless headlines, and the cameras chasing her into freezing rinks before the sun came up. And then she pulled
triple
the plug.
axels,
No blown knee,
headlines,
no tabloid scandal,
sponsorship
no tragic
whispers,
implosion. She
cameras
simply walked
following
away.
her in.
At the time, nobody called it bravery. They called it
No
a waste,
dramatic fall.
mostly because her
She
father had
just
reportedly
stopped.
poured between
That
$500,000
decision
and $1
didn't
million
look brave
into
at
her
the
career.
time.
We are talking private ice time in Oakland, cross-country flights, costumes that cost more than a used sedan, plus a small army of coaches and shrinks.
$1 and $1 million into her career. Private ice time in Oakland, flights across the country.
It feels like defaulting on a loan. In April 2022, she posted her retirement notice without fanfare.
Psychologists,
No manifesto,
years
just
of
a
it.
blurb. She
When
was
you
fresh
know
off a
someone
7th
spent
place
that
finish
kind
in
of
Beijing
money
and a
believing in
bronze at
you,
Worlds.
walking.
For anyone else, that is a launch pad. For Alysa, it was the finish line of a race that had already taken too much.
April
She later confessed that
2022,
skating
she
often
posted
felt
the
less like a
retirement
passion
announcement
and more like
quietly.
managing her
No
father's
grand
business.
speech.
That sentence hits harder than gold. When you peak at 13, you trade your childhood for applause. Proms turn into
For most
practice
skaters,
blocks.
that would have been
Weekends
the
are just
beginning of
layovers.
something bigger.
Joy becomes a
For
job
her, it felt like
requirement.
the end.
It looks glamorous on television, but the reality of elite skating is brutal.
It
Your
felt
body
like
is a
her
data
father's
set.
business,
Weight is a
not
public
hers.
debate.
That
Every jump
sentence
rotation
matters
is
more than
analyzed
any
like a
medal.
crime scene. At that altitude, talent isn't enough. You have to maintain yourself like a high-yield investment portfolio.
Classes become training sessions.
For nearly 2 years,
Weekends
she did the
become
unthinkable
flights.
For a top-tier athlete
Joy
with
becomes
absolutely nothing
responsibility.
competitive. She saw the world, trekked to Everest Base Camp, enrolled at UCLA, and drove aimlessly without documenting every second for social media.
Skating
No
is
5
casual.
a.m.
The
alarms.
body is
And the
monitored.
kicker?
Weight
For a
is
long
discussed.
time, she didn't miss the ice at
Rotations
all.
are dicey.
That silence says more about burnout than any statistic ever could. Some retirements are forced. This one
Level.
was a choice.
Talent
And
is
chosen
never
retirement
enough.
hits differently.
It has
No
to be
injury blame,
maintained
no
like an
villain, just
investment
pure exhaustion
portfolio.
and relief. Then came the shift. Early 2024, a casual ski trip changed the equation. Just speed, powder, and 0 judges.
Themselves
The
to
adrenaline
do.
felt like an old
Nothing
friend.
competitive.
Her body remembered
She
the thrill
traveled,
of the edge
hiked
before
to
her
Everest
brain
Base
even caught
Camp.
up. She laced up her skates again, not to stage a comeback, but just to see if the spark was still there. That
Practice
distinction is
alarm.
key.
And
Comebacks
here's the
fueled by fear
detail people
fail.
gloss over.
Comebacks fueled by curiosity
For a long
can rewrite
time,
history. It wasn't pretty at first. The rust was real. The timing was a mess.
are
But the dynamic
forced.
had flipped.
This
She
one
picked
was
her own
chosen,
tracks, set
and
her own
chosen
hours,
retirement
and learned to hit the
hits
brakes when
differently.
She felt the burnout
There's
creeping
no
in.
injury.
The machine wasn't driving her anymore. Her official return in late 2024 raised eyebrows. Her World
Early
Championship win in
2024,
2025
a
dropped
casual
jaws.
ski
Then came
trip.
Milan, February
No
19th,
pressure, no
2026.
judges.
She wasn't the favorite. She was the underdog. Then she delivered clean ice, 7 triples, and a Lutz toe combo that cut like a knife. The
Recognized
judges
something
leaned
before
in,
her mind
the
did.
lenses
Control,
focused, and that
edge,
smile
risk.
at the end,
She went back to
totally
the
real.
rink.
She left with 2 gold medals, 1 solo, 1 team breaking a 24-year drought for American women. Naturally,
That
the
distinction
conversation
is
pivoted to
important
money. It
because
always
athletes
does.
who
Before
return
Milan,
out of
her
fear
net worth was pegged
rarely
around
last.
500,000. Peanuts for a celebrity, especially given the sunk costs. But Olympic gold has a multiplier effect. The U.S.
Rust
Olympic
showed.
Committee cuts a check
Timing
for
was off,
$37,500
but something else
per
was
gold.
different
She
too.
bagged 2. She already had major sponsors like Nike and Samsung, but those contracts are about to get a lot of extra zeros.
Running her.
net
When she
worth
officially
isn't the
returned to
interesting number
competition
here.
in late
It is the
2024,
price of
it
admission.
surprised people.
Strip away the glory, and Alysa's financial story isn't about getting rich quick. It is about a talent
February
that almost drowned
19th,
under pressure, dried
2026,
itself off,
free
and
skate
finally
night,
learned to swim on its
third
own
place
terms.
going.
The fortune followed the freedom. After Milan, the valuation estimates were soaring before the torch even went out.
Sharp
Still,
triple Lutz triple toe
sticking to that
combination.
initial
Judges lean forward.
$500,000 figure,
Camera zoomed in.
It sounds absurd for a double gold medalist, but it exposes the myth we all carry about Olympic riches. The truth
One
is,
individual,
figure skating isn't
one
the end.
team,
Bachelor of
the
Arts
first
or the end.
American
F,
woman in
L.
24
The ice
years
itself
to
doesn't
do
print
it.
money. The machinery around the ice does, and that is where the narrative gets sharp.
Her net worth
father's
around
$1 million
500. The
decade
done
is
tons.
usually painted
Modest
as a
by
noble
celebrity
sacrifice.
standards, especially.
Once the gold hung around her neck, everyone wanted to frame it as a smart financial bet, as if the payout was always written in the stars. That is the tidy version of the story. But that
Olympic
narrative wipes
Committee
away the brutal
awards
years of
roughly
uncertainty, when there were no podiums promised, no future
37,500
assured,
per
and
gold
absolutely
medal.
no logic to the massive
She
costs
earned
involved.
that twice.
Long before the flame was lit in Milan for the 2026 Games, Alysa had already signed her name on the dotted line. Heavy
Those
hitters like
contracts
Nike,
won't look
Samsung,
the
and
same
Gillette
after
Venus had already
Milan.
staked their claim.
Still, the
But those
bigger
deals were built on
question
what she
isn't
times might
how
times
much she's
become.
worth.
She had youth, marketability, and raw talent in spades, but she wasn't an Olympic champion yet.
Alysa
Corporations will
Liu's
write checks for
financial
promise,
story
absolutely.
isn't
But the
about
zeros on the
sudden
check
wealth.
changed drastically
It's
when
about a
promise turns into
talent
proof.
that
This is exactly why the events of February 19th, 2026 carry weight far heavier than a simple photo op. She
money
stepped onto the
came
ice for the
after
free skate,
that,
trailing in third place.
not
No lock for the
before.
win, no sure thing.
After
And that
Milan,
unpredictability,
the
that is not
numbers
just drama,
started
that is
flying
bargaining
around.
power. She laid down a flawless performance, 7 triples, a razor-sharp Lutz, a toe loop combo, skating with the freedom of someone with nothing to lose.
Most
She didn't just
people, that
survive the
sounds
routine,
almost
she commanded
ridiculous.
it. When the
2
scores came
Olympic
up,
gold
she didn't
medals,
just climb the
world
leaderboard,
attention,
she conquered it.
head.
Then came the team gold, 2 victories, 2 iconic clips for the marketing teams to loop on repeat, and, of course, the immediate cash injection. Thanks to
The
the US
truth
Olympic
is,
and Paralympic
figure
Committee's
skating
Operation
has
Gold,
never
topping the
paid
podium
like
comes
the
with a nice bonus of
NBA or
roughly
the NFL.
$37,500.
The ice
Bagging 2 of them brings that total to $75,000 in straight cash. But frankly, that is just pocket change in the grand scheme.
story
The real
gets
fortune is hidden
sharper.
in the fine
Her
print of
father's
contracts.
reported spending somewhere
Endorsements are
between
rigged with performance
$500,000.
Snag a team medal? Bonus. Win individual gold? Massive bonus. Every victory unlocks new tiers of pay and opens the door to renegotiate everything.
Medals,
Contract you
people
sign as a
started
hopeful
calling it an
contender is
investment,
barely
like there was
recognizable
always a
compared to the one
guaranteed
you sign as a
return waiting
legend.
at the end.
Suddenly, appearance fees skyrocket, speaking gigs pour in, producers blow up her phone, and those ice show offers, they stop being polite requests and start being serious business.
No
And there is
promise of a
crucial
medal,
factor most people
no
glaze
promise
over
of a
because it
career
doesn't
that
look
would
like a
last
dollar
long
sign on
enough to
paper.
justify
She's
the
only 20
cost.
years old. That age is everything. A double gold medalist at 20 isn't just a winner. She is a long-term asset with a massive runway ahead of her. Sponsors aren't
Brands
renting her
like
for a season.
Nike,
They are investing in a decade of
Samsung, and
relevance.
Gillette
Throw in her
Venus
status
have
as a
been
UCLA
linked to
student,
her
and you have that
publicly.
perfect, relatable
And
achiever
those
vibe
deals
advertisers
were
love.
built.
Plus, her heritage as a Chinese-American athlete gives her crossover appeal in multiple major global markets. None of this prints money
Brands will
automatically,
pay for
but it generates
potential,
massive interest.
sure,
And in
but
this
they
game,
pay a different
interest
kind of
triggers the
money
bidding
for
wars.
confirmation.
Post-games, the schedule gets brutal. Agents fight tooth and nail to slot her into the primetime interviews that matter most. Selling a champion
She entered
who
the
looks
free
genuinely
skate
happy
sitting in
is a
third
breeze compared to
after the
pitching
short
someone who
program.
looks broken by the
Not the
spotlight.
obvious.
That beaming smile she flashed after the free skate, that authentic moment of joy is worth more to a brand than any technical score ever could be.
A
However,
clean free
there
cake,
is a
7
profound
triple
layer to
jumps,
this story
a sharp
that the
triple Lutz
mainstream
triple toe
headlines barely
combination.
raised. For a long time, money represented a burden, not a prize. The costs piled up first. The crushing expectations followed. That dynamic destroys athletes. It turns every
Then the
routine
team
into a
gold
frantic
followed.
attempt to pay back a
2
debt.
medals,
But after
2
Milan,
moments that
the
brands
financial
can
script flips
replay
completely.
forever.
Now, wealth is just a byproduct of her success, not the fuel required to keep the lights on. That shift offers psychological armor, and stability is a commodity businesses love.
Gold
This is the
program.
secret
A gold
sauce.
medal earns roughly
Sponsors aren't just buying gold medals.
$37,500.
They are investing in the probability that the star won't crumble under the microscope of global fame.
Is not
Alysa
the
already
shocking
proved
part.
she has the guts
The
to walk
shocking
away.
part is
She
what
showed the
happens
world
next,
she doesn't need
quietly
the ice
in
to
contract
survive.
language.
Then she proved she could come back stronger, without the scars. The public loves that resilience, and corporate executives, they respect it even more. So when you hear
Each
estimates
step
pegging her
can
net
trigger
worth at
bonuses,
$500,000, you are looking at a
renegotiation
snapshot from the
windows,
past
an
before the
entirely
Olympic
new
wave crash.
category.
Those numbers are in the rearview mirror. They reflect history, not the current reality. The truth is,
Appearance
with 2
fees
gold medals
rise,
around her neck,
speaking
she is standing at the
invitations
starting
start
line
showing
for
up.
financial life,
Producers
not the
call.
finish. It is no longer a question of if she gets rich. It is a question of how fast and what she is willing to sell to get there. There is an
Past,
unspoken
because
rule
it
in
doesn't
Olympic history.
sound like
The
money,
medal grabs the headline,
even though
but
it
the second
is.
year post-victory
She's
is when
20.
the bank account truly
That
swells.
matters because
Check the receipts of past American winter champions. The financial explosion rarely hits the week they win. It
aren't
hits
buying
when the
one
renewal talks
season.
start.
They're buying
That is when
years of
brands
relevance.
decide if you were a
She's
fleeting
also a
moment or
UCLA
permanent
student,
platform.
which
For Alysa Liu, this distinction is everything. 1 gold gets you a spike. 2 golds give you the hammer.
in
But
more
having
than
the
one
hammer
major
only
market.
matters if you know where
That
to
doesn't
swing.
guarantee wealth,
Momentum must
but
be
it
steered,
absolutely
or it
increases
dissipates.
interest.
We've seen champions burn bright and fade fast, overexposed and exhausted before the next season even starts. Others play the long game, They
after the
pick their
games.
spots, fewer partners,
Agents
bigger
push for the
checks,
right
longer
interviews
terms.
at the right
Right
time.
now,
A
she's in the
clean,
driver's seat.
joyful
20 years old, double gold, and a comeback story that feels gritty and real, not cooked up in a marketing lab.
had
That
after the
specific
free
leverage is
skate,
the golden ticket,
the one that didn't
transforming
seem
an athlete
forced,
from merely
that can be
comfortable
worth
to
more than a
undeniably
technical
empire-building
element
wealthy.
on a
If we check the history books, American figure skating royalty typically sees their commercial value explode in the 24 months after the torch goes out. Touring
moved on.
contracts can easily
For
surge into the
years,
millions,
money
contingent
was
entirely on
pressure
how long they
before
stay
it
on
was
the road and
reward.
who holds the exclusive
The
rights.
spending
For athletes with real star power, walking onto a stage for a corporate keynote can command $50,000 to $100,000 per hour. Major
It
national
can make
advertising
every
campaigns eventually dwarf
performance
the actual
feel like
prize money. But
repayment.
this is where the fairy tale gets
After
complicated
Milan,
because the payout in
the
Olympic sports is
financial
notoriously
story
fickle.
flipped.
It all hinges on charisma, perfect timing, the cultural vibe, and having the discipline to say no when the offers start flooding in. The marketing
Psychologically,
landscape of
which is also a
2026
business
is a completely
advantage
different
because
beast compared to
stability
2
lowers
decades
risk.
ago. Likes and shares carry almost as much weight as the gold around their neck, with audience engagement translating directly into cash. A scandal-free champion who knows how to work the internet can lock down digital deals that have nothing to do with traditional TV, opening
Alysa
revenue
already
streams the old
showed
guard never
she
dreamed
could
of.
step.
Alysa didn't walk into Milan empty-handed. The partnerships were already signed. But once
Looking
the medals
broken.
are won, those contracts
That
get ripped
reads
up and
differently to the
renegotiated.
public.
Performance clauses kick
It
in,
also
and the
reads
conversation
differently
changes
to
instantly.
executives.
Before the games, you negotiate on potential. After the games, you negotiate on hard proof.
They
Results
may be
drive up the price
describing
tag,
what had
but there is a
accumulated
hidden
before
trap
the
most
Olympic
fans
boost
miss,
fully
the
hit.
sustainability
Net
question.
worth estimate.
Some stars cash in quickly and burn out, while others play the long game, letting their wealth compound year after year. That compounding
Is that
only
she's
happens if
standing at the
reputation stays
beginning of a
pristine.
curve,
No scandals,
not the
no
end
public
of a
meltdowns,
story.
and no
The
overstaying the
question
welcome.
now
This is where her controversial decision to retire at 16 suddenly becomes a major financial asset. At the
there's a
time,
pattern in
pundits called
Olympic
it a
history
mistake,
that rarely
while
gets
others saw a
explained
teenager
clearly.
trying to save
The
her
medal
own
is the
life.
headline.
But looking at the brand arc now, that hiatus added depth. She isn't just a skating machine anymore. She is
Past
the
American
comeback kid
Winter
who did it her
Olympic
way, a
champions.
storyline that
The
prevents her
financial
from being
spike
boxed in
almost
as just
never
another
happens
ice
in the
princess.
exact.
One-note athletes have a shelf life. Once the novelty wears off, the checks stop coming, but a complex human story keeps people watching. That
Athlete
interest
was a
keeps the
moment
sponsors
or a
happy, and her
platform.
heritage as a
That
Chinese-American
distinction
champion
matters for
unlocks
Alysa
massive
Liu.
cross-border potential.
One
Global corporations are desperate for faces that can sell products in New York and Shanghai simultaneously.
that the
dual
momentum
appeal
is
can
managed
skyrocket marketing
carefully.
budgets,
Some
particularly in
champions
Asia, where the
peak too
appetite for figure
fast,
skating is still voracious.
oversaturate the.
However, nothing is guaranteed. The quickest way to kill your earnings is to be everywhere at once while your skating falls apart. If she crashes
They
and
choose
burns
fewer
in the
deals,
upcoming seasons,
higher value,
the sponsors
longer
will
shelf
quietly
life.
start backing
Right now,
away.
she sits.
When the crowd moves on, the money dries up. So the prediction that her $500,000 net worth is about to explode isn't just hopeful thinking. It is a
Earned
probability
rather than
calculation based on
manufactured.
decades of
That
Olympic
combination
trend,
gives
but
her
odds are not
pricing power.
guarantees.
And
What sets her apart is her poise. She doesn't look like she is starving for attention.
American
Athletes who
Olympic
grab every
figure
check
skating
often look
champions have seen
insecure,
endorsement
whereas picking and
portfolios
choosing shows
expand
you know
quickly
your
in the
worth.
2 years.
Then there is the history factor. Milan, 2026, shattered a 24-year dry spell for American women on the Olympic podium.
Length
Breaking
and
a curse like
exclusivity.
that makes you an
Corporate
icon
speaking
instantly,
engagements
and
often
icons
climb
have
into
replay
high five
value.
or low.
Replay value keeps the brand alive across years, marking a crucial pivot in her narrative.
Earnings
Before
beyond
2022,
competition
the conversation
prize
was all
money
about the price paid,
entirely.
the money spent,
But this
the
is where the
sacrifices made,
story
and whether it
stops
was
being
worth it.
simple.
After Milan, the script flips to return on investment, which is a much cleaner, easier thing to discuss.
Cultural
It sounds like
mood
cold
and the
math, but it still
discipline to
relies
not
on
say
blood,
yes to
sweat, and
everything.
mental health.
In
The gold medal only
2026,
ensured we'd look
the
at her.
sports
It didn't promise we'd keep looking. And truthfully, Alysa hasn't even hit her financial peak yet.
much
She is
as
just laying the
medals.
foundation.
Audience
The next 18 to
engagement
24
is
months will decide if
monetized
she retires
directly
with a
now.
fortune or
A
just a nice
clean,
nest egg.
positive.
That is where the actual drama is unfolding right now. If you
Additional
want the clean
TV
Hollywood
spots
ending,
that expands
father spends a
income
fortune,
streams
daughter
beyond
wins
old
double
school
gold,
endorsement
and they ride
logic.
off into the sunset.
Alysa
Net worth spikes. Everyone nods, and the sacrifice is validated. But real life is rarely that neat, even if the numbers look good.
performance
You have roughly
bonuses activate.
$75,000
Renewal discussions
in
shift
direct
tone.
prize money
A
from the
pre-Olympic
two
athlete
medals.
negotiates.
You have the old sponsorships getting a pay bump, lucrative tour offers stacking up, and appearance fees that finally reflect her status. The arrow
But there's
points up,
another layer
but a
most
projection
viewers
is
don't
not
see.
cash in the
The
bank.
sustainability
Timing
question.
is everything.
Some athletes
The post-game chaos is deafening, flashing cameras, endless press junkets, and high-stakes deals being cut in quiet hotel suites.
compound over time. Compounding happens when reputation stays intact. No controversy.
Forget the paycheck from February 2026. The real drama unfolds with the moves she makes in 2027. If history
Becomes
teaches us anything
financially
about
relevant
individual Olympic
again.
victors, it is that the
Walking
first
away
12
at
months
16 was
post-glory are
controversial
absolute
in
mayhem.
sports.
It is the second year that separates the legends from the lucky some vanish, some evolve, and a rare few transcend the medal around their necks. Alysa has
Survival.
already proven
But
she
from a
possesses the
long-term
terrifying
brand
courage to
perspective,
walk away from
that
the very
pause
thing
did
the world
something
thinks she was born
unusual.
to do.
It
Do not underestimate the financial leverage of that move, because once you prove you are willing to leave the table, you control the negotiation. There is a
came
massive
back
void
on
between
her
chasing
own
a paycheck
terms.
and deciding if a paycheck is
That
worth your life.
protects
And that
against
distinction is exactly what
typecasting.
determines if a career burns out or
Typecast
burns bright.
athlete.
And one haunting detail refuses to fade. When she hung up her skates at 16, she confessed the ice felt less like a passion and more like someone else's business.
Weird
That
story
sentiment didn't just
sustains
vanish
interest.
into thin air.
Interest
It merely
sustains
retreated
deals.
into the
There is
shadows,
also the
waiting.
international.
Post-Milan, the interviews were all about euphoria, the smiles were genuine, and for the first time, she looked like she actually chose to be there.
National
You couldn't find a
brands
trace of
value
panic in her
athletes
eyes during
who
the race
resonate
day.
across
And trust
more
me,
than one
major
audience
brands clock that
that
kind
can
of confidence
influence
instantly.
campaign.
But happiness is a fragile thing in the big leagues, and big money contracts always come with heavy strings attached.
And
Expectations
strong.
fill the calendar,
And yet
fatigue
growth
sets in,
is never
and suddenly the dream
automatic.
starts looking a lot
The
like the cage
fastest
she broke
way
out
to
of in
stall earning
2022.
momentum.
None of this is a sure bet. The athletes who bank the most coin are rarely the ones who simply jump the highest or spin the fastest. Real
Olympic
empires are
gold.
built on steady nerves,
Sponsors adjust
unbreakable
tone.
public trust,
If
a
public
spotless
interest
reputation,
cools,
and the wisdom to pace
valuations
oneself.
flat.
Right now, she is holding a royal flush. Being a 20-year-old double Olympic champion puts her in a rarefied atmosphere.
About
She
to
shattered
multiply
a 24-year curse
isn't
for American women on
speculation.
Olympic ice, a
It's
statistic that marketing
probability
teams will be
based on
milking for
Olympic
every penny for
history.
years. Yet gold collects dust, fans find new idols, and there is always a fresh prodigy waiting in the wings to steal the spotlight. Her only
She
lasting
does not
weapon
look
is how she
desperate
plays
for the
game from here.
spotlight.
Her net worth
Athletes
of
who
$500,000
chase
might
every
seem low,
endorsement
but that is not the
sometimes
surprise.
signal.
The shock isn't the amount itself, but how tiny it looks compared to the colossal legend we have spun around her name. We hallucinate
The
that a gold medal
2026
means instant
Games
millions,
ended a
but in a cold light
24-year
of day,
drought for
it only buys
American
you a
women
seat at
in
the table.
individual.
That opportunity is worthless unless you convert it, and conversion forces tough questions. Will she grind through another brutal 4-year cycle?
Increases replay value. Replay value sustains brand storytelling across multiple campaigns.
Can she remain the master of her own pauses? Because lurking underneath the surface is a far more uncomfortable reality. The initial
Storyline
gamble wasn't
around
hers
her
to
was
make. It was her
cost.
father who poured
What had
between
been spent?
$500,000 and $1
What had
million
been
into this dream
sacrificed?
over a decade.
Whether
An investment that massive can feel like the purest form of love, or it can feel like a crushing weight on your soul. For the first
discussed,
time,
it is
financial
cleaner.
power rests
It
in her
feels
hands,
like
a
math,
shift that
but it
inevitably
still
rewrites the
depends on
script of
human
family dynamics.
factors.
It fundamentally alters who calls the shots and who carries the burden, a messy truth that nobody discusses on camera, but everyone feels.
Longevity.
Her most
Right
valuable
now,
asset was
Alysa
never a
Liu is
triple
not
jump.
standing at the
It was
height
the
of her
power
financial
restraint.
power.
She had the guts to walk out when the vibe was off and the grace to return without looking desperate. If
Net
she keeps
worth
that
moves
instinct
into
sharp,
the
we are
multi-million
looking at a
range
multi-million-dollar
or settles
future, fueled by
modestly
smart renewals
compared
and
to
premium
Olympic
campaigns.
myth.
But if she loses that inner compass, the bank account might spike temporarily before crashing down just as hard. Alysa
Father
stands at
invests a
silent
fortune.
crossroads today,
Daughter
with $1
wins
million
2 Olympic
spent
gold
and a
medals.
miraculous
Net
comeback
worth
in her rearview
rises.
mirror. Staring back at her are unsigned deals, unskated seasons, and life-altering choices that won't reveal their consequences for years.
The math now looks promising. Roughly $75 in direct Olympic prize money from 2.
The medals are etched in stone, but the fortune is still water slipping through her fingers.